Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to introduce you to our presentation titled The 3 Degrees of Masonry Explained, which covers the entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason levels. We'll also explore the mysticism of masonry and what makes it so fascinating. Over the next few slides, we'll delve into each degree, uncover their meanings, and discuss the mystical aspects that surround them. So, let's get started and discover the rich symbolism and teachings of Masonry together. Welcome to our discussion on Freemasonry. In this section, we'll explore the core elements that define this ancient fraternity. First, we'll look at the entered apprentice degree, which is the initial step into Masonry, focusing on foundational teachings and values. Then, we move on to the fellow craft degree, where members deepen their understanding of symbolism and moral lessons. Next, the Master Mason degree represents the culmination of the journey, emphasizing enlightenment and mastery of knowledge. We'll also delve into the mysticism of Masonry, exploring how mystical concepts and spiritual ideas are woven into the teachings. The role of symbolism in Blue Lodge degrees is particularly significant, as symbols serve as tools for moral and philosophical reflection. To better understand these elements, we'll compare the different degrees, highlighting their unique features and shared themes. Finally, we'll wrap up with a conclusion that ties everything together, emphasizing how these degrees and concepts contribute to the overall Masonry experience. Throughout this presentation, keep in mind that these degrees are not just rituals, they're pathways to personal growth and enlightenment. Let's begin with an overview of what we'll cover today. We start with an introduction to Freemasonry, giving a broad understanding of its purpose and principles. Then, we move into the entered apprentice degree, which is the first step in a Mason's journey, emphasizing foundational values and learning. Next is the fellow craft degree, where Masons deepen their knowledge and commitment, exploring more complex teachings. Following that is the Master Mason degree, the culmination of the initial degrees, focusing on mastery and moral lessons. We'll also explore the mysticism of Masonry, revealing the spiritual and symbolic dimensions that give the craft its depth. An important part of this is understanding the role of symbolism in Blue Lodge degrees, as symbols serve as key tools for teaching moral lessons and fostering reflection. To deepen our understanding, we'll look at a comparative analysis of the degrees, highlighting how each builds upon the previous and contributes to the overall Masonic journey. Finally, we'll wrap up with a conclusion, tying everything together and reflecting on how these degrees and their symbolism connect to the broader themes of personal growth and moral development. Throughout this presentation, I invite you to see how each part of the degrees contributes to the overarching theme of enlightenment and self-improvement within Freemasonry. Let's take a closer look at the overview of Freemasonry. It first emerged in the late 16th to early 17th centuries, evolving from the medieval guilds of stonemasons. These guilds were about more than just building. They promoted moral and ethical conduct through allegorical teachings and rituals that conveyed deeper life lessons. Today, Freemasonry continues to emphasize moral development, personal growth, and fellowship among its members. Its core principles include brotherhood, charity, and truth, all aimed at fostering a deeper understanding of life's mysteries. Moving on to its global influence, Freemasonry has spread across many cultures, creating a sense of fraternity worldwide. It's involved in charitable work, promoting moral teachings, and encouraging enlightenment and tolerance. Ultimately, Freemasonry seeks to build a better community through shared values, moral integrity, and universal brotherhood. This broad influence highlights its enduring role in promoting community service, moral development, and mutual understanding across the globe. Let's take a closer look at the structure of Freemasonry. First, we have the Blue Lodge, which is the foundation of the craft. Through the Blue Lodge, members go through 3 key degrees: entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason. Each of these stages symbolizes a personal and spiritual journey, helping individuals grow and develop their character and understanding. Beyond the Blue Lodge, Freemasonry expands into various bodies and orders. For example, the York Rite and the Scottish Rite offer additional teachings, rituals, and experiences. These organizations enrich the Masonic journey by providing deeper insights and broader perspectives on our principles and values. Finally, the Grand Lodge plays a crucial role as the governing body of Freemasonry. It oversees local lodges, ensures that standards are maintained, and promotes unity among members worldwide. This structure helps keep our fraternity strong, organized, and true to its foundational ideals. So, in essence, the structure of Freemasonry is designed to guide members through personal growth, offer diverse experiences, and maintain a unified, reputable organization. Let's take a closer look at the introduction to Freemasonry and its core degrees. We start with the Entered Apprentice degree, which is the initial step into the fraternity. Here, new members learn the basics of Freemasonry, focusing on moral development and foundational principles. Moving on, the Fellow Craft degree builds on that foundation, emphasizing education, knowledge, and the importance of work and growth within the craft. Next is the Master Mason degree, the highest of the 3 basic degrees, which delves into deeper symbolism and themes of life, death, and immortality. These degrees form the core structure of Freemasonry and set the stage for understanding its mysticism. Speaking of mysticism, Freemasonry is often associated with a rich spiritual and mystical tradition. This is where symbolism plays a vital role. Symbols like the square and compasses, the all-seeing eye, and other Masonic emblems are not just decorative. They represent moral lessons and universal truths. Understanding the role of symbolism in the Blue Lodge degrees helps us see how Freemasonry communicates its teachings visually and intuitively. It's a language that transcends words, inviting members to reflect deeply on moral and spiritual concepts. When we compare these degrees, we notice a progression. Each one builds on the previous, adding layers of meaning, symbolism, and moral insight. Together, they form a comprehensive journey of personal and spiritual development. In conclusion, these degrees are more than just rituals. They're a pathway to understanding universal principles, moral virtues, and the mystical aspects of Freemasonry that continue to intrigue and inspire members worldwide. Now, let's explore the symbolism of the Entered Apprentice. This degree truly represents new beginnings and marks the initiation into Masonic teachings. It's the start of a spiritual journey aimed at gaining knowledge and enlightenment. One of the most recognizable symbols here is the square and compasses. The square stands for virtue and morality. It's a reminder that our actions should always be guided by a sense of right and wrong. The compasses, on the other hand, symbolize boundaries, keeping us within moral and spiritual limits while encouraging us to focus on personal growth. Light plays a crucial role in this degree as well. It's a powerful symbol of knowledge and enlightenment. It signifies the transition from ignorance to wisdom, highlighting the importance of personal development and moral improvement on our Masonic path. Together, these symbols underscore the core theme of this journey, moving from darkness into light, from unawareness to understanding, and fostering continuous growth in both moral and spiritual dimensions. On this slide, we're exploring the valuable lessons we learn from the Entered Apprentice degree. It's not just about the rituals, it's about the moral teachings that guide us. For example, integrity, humility, and the importance of self-improvement are central themes. These qualities help us live a virtuous life and also encourage us to contribute positively to our communities. Moving on, the concept of labor in this degree is especially significant. It symbolizes the value of diligence and continuous effort. When we talk about labor here, it's not just physical work. It's about self-improvement and building a strong foundation for both personal growth and our communal responsibilities. Finally, this degree emphasizes personal development through self-reflection, moral integrity, and the pursuit of knowledge. It's about laying the groundwork for further learning and growth in Masonry. These lessons remind us that our journey is ongoing, and each step we take helps us become better individuals and members of our community. Now, let's take a closer look at the introduction to Freemasonry and its core degrees. We start with the Entered Apprentice degree, which is the entry point for those beginning their journey. It symbolizes the initial step into the fraternity and the pursuit of knowledge and moral development. Moving on, the fellow craft degree represents a deeper understanding of the craft, emphasizing education, work, and the pursuit of wisdom. Next is the Master Mason degree, the culmination of the initial stages, focusing on maturity, integrity, and the profound secrets of the craft. Beyond these degrees, we encounter the mysticism of Masonry, which explores the spiritual and symbolic dimensions that give Freemasonry its depth and allure. The role of symbolism in Blue Lodge degrees is central. Each symbol and ritual carries layered meanings that point us toward moral and philosophical truths. When we compare these degrees, we see a progressive journey, each one building on the last, guiding members through a series of moral and spiritual lessons. In conclusion, understanding these degrees and their symbolism helps us appreciate how Freemasonry functions as a universal system of moral development and brotherhood. This overview ties back to the overall theme of personal growth through shared tradition and ancient wisdom. The Fellow Craft degree is all about the pursuit of knowledge. It encourages us to grow personally and gain wisdom through study, reflection, and exploring the mysteries of the world around us. This journey of learning is at the heart of what it means to be a fellow craft. Now let's talk about some key symbols. First, the plum. The plum represents moral integrity and uprightness. It reminds us to be honest and true in our actions. Next is the level, which stands for equality and fairness among all people. These principles are essential for guiding us in Masonry and in life. Moving on, the degree also symbolizes the building of our character and intellect. Think of it as constructing your inner temple, much like Solomon's temple. It's about growth, seeking wisdom, and continually striving to better ourselves. The overall theme here is the path of knowledge, and the key symbols, the plum and the level, serve as guides along this journey. Just as builders use these tools to create something lasting, we use them to build ourselves into better men, always aiming for moral uprightness and equality. This process reflects the ongoing effort to build a strong, virtuous character, much like constructing a magnificent temple. On this slide, we're focusing on the lessons of the Fellow Craft degree, which are fundamental to our growth both personally and as a community. First, the degree emphasizes the importance of intellectual growth. It encourages us to seek knowledge continuously, to deepen our understanding of the world around us, and to foster enlightenment through ongoing learning. This pursuit of knowledge helps us become better individuals and more informed members of society. Next, the degree highlights the value of brotherhood. This isn't just about friendship. It's about mutual support, sharing wisdom, and strengthening the bonds that unite us. These connections are vital because they promote personal growth and contribute to building a stronger, more resilient community. Finally, the Fellow Craft degree underscores the significance of education, labor, and moral development. It inspires us to contribute positively to society, not just through knowledge, but through service and ethical conduct. By doing so, we fulfill our responsibilities and make a meaningful difference in the world around us. Overall, these lessons, intellectual growth, brotherhood, and moral contribution, are interconnected and essential to our journey in Freemasonry. They guide us toward becoming more enlightened, supportive, and ethical individuals who strive to uplift both ourselves and those we serve. Let's take a closer look at the introduction to Freemasonry and its foundational degrees. We start with the Entered Apprentice degree, which is the first step into the craft. Here, candidates begin their journey, learning basic principles and symbols that set the stage for deeper understanding. Moving on, the Fellow Craft degree builds on that foundation, emphasizing knowledge, skill, and the pursuit of wisdom. It's a stage where members deepen their insight into the moral and philosophical teachings of Masonry. The Master Mason degree is the culmination of the initial journey, symbolizing maturity, integrity, and the importance of brotherhood. Now, beyond these degrees, there's a fascinating layer, the mysticism of Masonry. This aspect explores the mystical and spiritual symbolism woven into the craft, adding depth and intrigue to the teachings. The role of symbolism in Blue Lodge degrees is crucial because symbols serve as a universal language, conveying profound moral lessons and philosophical truths that transcend words. When we compare these degrees, we see a progression. Each builds on the previous one, guiding members through a journey of personal development and enlightenment. In conclusion, understanding these degrees and their symbolism helps us appreciate the richness of Freemasonry and its ongoing influence. Each element connects to the broader theme of moral growth, spiritual exploration, and brotherhood that defines the craft. The symbolism of the Master Mason is truly the pinnacle of the Masonic journey. It represents the highest point of your growth within the fraternity, signifying enlightenment, mastery over oneself, and the achievement of deep wisdom and understanding. This degree is about reaching a level where you truly grasp the moral and spiritual principles that Masonry teaches. One of the key symbols associated with this degree is the all-seeing eye. This symbol stands for divine watchfulness, reminding us that there is a higher power observing our actions. It encourages us to seek spiritual enlightenment and to live with integrity, knowing that moral guidance is always present and watching over us. Another important aspect of the Master Mason degree is the contemplation of mortality. It reminds us that life is fleeting and that our time on earth is limited. This reflection urges us to pursue wisdom and virtue actively, living in a way that prepares us for what comes after this life. It's about understanding the transient nature of our existence and striving to leave a positive, meaningful legacy. Overall, this degree encapsulates the core themes of enlightenment, moral integrity, and the importance of living virtuously, aligning perfectly with the broader themes of personal growth and spiritual development that run throughout our entire Masonic journey. As we reflect on the lessons of the Master Mason degree, it's important to recognize the deep sense of legacy and responsibility it instills in us. This degree emphasizes the importance of maintaining moral integrity, serving our communities, and understanding that our actions have a lasting impact on future generations. It's about being mindful that what we do today shapes the world of tomorrow. Moving on, the degree also highlights the value of integration and leadership. It encourages us to blend our knowledge with strong leadership skills, fostering personal growth and teamwork. These qualities are essential not only within the fraternity, but also in how we guide others and serve our communities with ethical conduct. Lastly, spiritual awareness is a core component. The degree invites us to seek personal growth, deepen our understanding of moral principles, and strengthen our connection to the divine and to each other. It's about nurturing our spiritual development as part of our journey as Master Masons, aligning our actions with higher ideals. All of these lessons, legacy, leadership, and spiritual growth, are interconnected and serve to reinforce the overall theme of becoming better men, better neighbors, and better stewards of what we hold sacred. Let's take a closer look at the introduction to Freemasonry and its core degrees. First, we have the entered apprentice degree, which is the initial step where new members begin their journey. It focuses on foundational lessons about morality, learning, and personal growth. Moving on, the fellow craft degree deepens our understanding of craftsmanship, knowledge, and the pursuit of wisdom. It encourages members to explore further and develop their skills. Next is the Master Mason degree, the highest of the 3 basic degrees. It represents full initiation and a commitment to the principles of brotherhood, integrity, and service. This degree often involves more profound symbolism and teachings about life, death, and enlightenment. Beyond the degrees, Freemasonry is often described as mystical, filled with symbolism that conveys moral and philosophical truths. The role of symbolism, especially in the Blue Lodge degrees, helps members interpret and internalize these lessons in a meaningful way. When we compare these degrees, we see a progression, from learning the basics as an entered apprentice, to gaining knowledge and skill as a fellow craft, and finally achieving full enlightenment as a Master Mason. Each stage builds upon the last, guiding members along a path of personal and moral development. In conclusion, understanding these degrees and their symbolism not only reveals the structure of Freemasonry, but also highlights its overarching theme: the journey toward self-improvement and enlightenment. Let's delve into the historical context of Masonic mysticism. Throughout history, Ancient mysteries from civilizations like Egypt and Greece have played a significant role in shaping Masonic rituals. These mysteries emphasized key themes such as knowledge, initiation, and enlightenment, which are central to our understanding of spiritual growth. They fostered a deeper connection to the divine and encouraged members to seek greater understanding through symbolic practices. Moving on, Masonic rituals and symbolism are a rich tapestry woven from these ancient traditions. They serve not just as ceremonial acts, but as moral lessons that promote personal development. These symbols embody core values like integrity and enlightenment, guiding members on a journey of self-discovery. This blend of spirituality and fraternity creates a unique environment where moral and spiritual growth go hand in hand. Finally, the essence of Masonic mysticism is the relentless quest for truth. It encourages us to look inward, to reflect and seek understanding through ritual, symbolism, and philosophical inquiry. This pursuit is structured within the framework of the 3 degrees, each representing a stage of personal evolution. All these elements, history, symbolism, and the search for truth, come together to form the foundation of our mystical tradition, fostering deeper insight and connection at every level. Let's explore the mystical teachings embedded in Masonic rituals. At its core, ritual in Masonry acts as a transformative journey. It's not just about ceremony, it's about guiding individuals through symbolic lessons that promote personal growth, self-discovery, and a deeper understanding of the universe around us. These rituals serve as a mirror, reflecting our inner selves and encouraging us to evolve. Moving on, sacred geometry plays a significant role in Masonry. It symbolizes the order of the universe, illustrating spiritual truths through geometric forms. When we study these symbols, they guide us on a path of self-discovery and enlightenment, helping us see the divine structure underlying all of creation. Finally, the nature of the divine is a fundamental theme in Masonic rituals. They emphasize a universal spirit that connects us all. Importantly, each individual is encouraged to interpret this divine presence personally. The rituals highlight the importance of seeking enlightenment through symbolic teachings and moral refinement, fostering a journey towards spiritual understanding. Together, these elements, ritual transformation, sacred geometry, and the exploration of the divine, connect deeply with the overall theme of personal and spiritual growth within Masonry. Now, let's explore the introduction to Freemasonry and its foundational degrees. We start with the Entered Apprentice degree, which is the initial step where a candidate begins his journey into the fraternity. Here, we focus on the basic principles, the symbolism of learning, and the importance of moral development. Moving on, the Fellow Craft degree deepens the candidate's understanding, emphasizing knowledge, skill, and the pursuit of truth. It's a stage of growth and exploration within the craft. The Master Mason degree is the culmination of the initial journey, symbolizing enlightenment, mastery, and the responsibilities that come with greater knowledge. Beyond these degrees, we encounter the mysticism of Masonry, its rich traditions, secret rites, and spiritual symbolism that have fascinated members for centuries. A key aspect of Blue Lodge degrees is the role of symbolism, tools, allegories, and rituals that serve as lessons and moral guides, often layered with deeper meanings. When we compare these degrees, we see a structured progression, each one building upon the last, highlighting personal development and philosophical insight. Ultimately, understanding these degrees helps us appreciate the entire Masonic journey, which is as much about self-improvement as it is about fraternity. So, as we conclude this section, keep in mind that these degrees form the core of Masonic tradition, connecting symbolism, mysticism, and moral teachings into a cohesive spiritual path. Understanding Masonic symbols is really about recognizing how symbolism in Blue Lodge degrees communicates deeper truths. These symbols act as visual metaphors that teach us moral lessons and philosophical ideas in a way that resonates on a personal level. They help us gain a profound understanding of Masonic teachings and support our personal growth. When we look at common symbols like the square, compass, and ashes, we see that they carry significant moral lessons. These symbols are not just images. They promote values like self-improvement, ethical conduct, and the pursuit of knowledge. They serve as practical tools that guide us toward better behavior and understanding. Symbolism in these degrees is more than just tradition. It acts as a guiding framework for personal development. It offers moral insights that deepen over time, helping us grow ethically and spiritually. At the same time, these symbols foster a sense of community, connecting us through shared meanings and values. And even today, these symbols remain relevant. They adapt to modern interpretations of life and our core values, continuing to provide guidance and insight. They remind us that the lessons of Masonry are timeless and applicable in our everyday lives. Now, moving into the language of symbols, we see that these common symbols carry specific meanings that can be interpreted in various ways. Understanding these meanings helps us unlock the deeper messages behind them. In the modern context, we interpret these symbols not just as traditional images, but as powerful tools for reflection and growth. They help us see moral lessons in everyday life and inspire us to live by the principles they represent. So, in essence, these symbols serve as a bridge, connecting us to timeless truths, guiding our moral compass, and fostering a sense of community and personal development that stays relevant across generations. Let's talk about the importance of rituals in our Masonic journey. Symbolism in the Blue Lodge degrees acts as a powerful teaching tool, helping us understand moral lessons and ethical principles through rich, allegorical stories. These symbols are not just decorations. They serve as a profound way to convey important values that guide us along our path. Now, when we experience these rituals, it's more than just reciting words or performing actions. The symbolism fosters emotional connections and promotes spiritual growth. This deepens our understanding of Masonic principles and makes the entire ritual experience more meaningful and memorable. And what's really key here is how these symbols and rituals encourage personal reflection. They guide us towards self-discovery and moral development. By engaging with these symbols, we can better understand ourselves and our responsibilities, ultimately enriching our grasp of Masonic teachings. This connection between symbolism, reflection, and growth is fundamental to our journey. Let's take a closer look at the core stages of Freemasonry, starting with the entered apprentice degree. This is where a new member begins their journey, learning the foundational principles and values of the craft. Moving on, we have the fellow craft degree, which deepens the understanding of Masonry's teachings and emphasizes the importance of knowledge and growth. Next is the Master Mason degree, the highest of the three basic degrees, where members explore deeper moral and philosophical lessons, often centered around themes of mortality and enlightenment. Beyond these degrees, we encounter the mysticism of Masonry, its rich tradition of symbolism and allegory that conveys profound truths beyond words. The role of symbolism, especially in Blue Lodge degrees, is crucial because it helps members internalize moral lessons and connect with the spiritual aspects of the craft. When we compare the degrees, we see a structured progression, each building on the last to guide members through moral development, enlightenment, and self-improvement. And finally, in conclusion, these degrees and symbols collectively serve to foster personal growth, brotherhood, and a deeper understanding of life's mysteries. This progression is at the heart of Freemasonry's enduring appeal, and its aim to elevate its members morally and spiritually. Let's take a closer look at the progression of knowledge within the Masonic degrees. Starting with the entered apprentice, the focus is primarily on foundational knowledge and symbolisms. This stage is about learning the basic principles and understanding the symbols that represent deeper truths. Moving on to the fellow craft degree, the emphasis shifts toward moral and intellectual development. Here, Masons are encouraged to grow in their character and expand their understanding of moral principles. Finally, in the Master Mason degree, the focus is on leadership, service, and a deeper philosophical understanding. This stage emphasizes not just personal growth, but also the importance of guiding others and contributing to the fraternity and society. Now, as Masons advance through these degrees, their responsibilities naturally evolve. In the entered apprentice stage, the emphasis is on personal self-improvement, building a solid foundation of knowledge and virtues. As they become fellow crafts, the focus broadens to community engagement and contributing beyond themselves. And as Master Masons, they take on roles of leadership and mentorship, guiding newer members and serving the community with a greater sense of purpose. This journey from apprentice to master symbolizes a continuous path of growth. It's about acquiring knowledge, developing morally, and embracing increased responsibilities. Each step builds upon the last, reinforcing the idea that Masonry is a lifelong journey of learning and service. It's this progression that highlights the overall theme of personal and moral development within our fraternity. Let's take a moment to explore the symbolic connections among the degrees of Masonry. As you can see, each of the 3 degrees shares interconnected symbols that represent key concepts like knowledge, morality, and personal growth. These symbols aren't just decorative. They tell a story of a personal journey toward enlightenment and self-improvement within the mystical framework of Freemasonry. Now, when we look at how these symbols interrelate, it's clear that each degree builds upon the lessons of the previous one. For example, the teachings on moral integrity and personal development are reinforced at every stage, deepening our understanding and commitment to Masonic principles. This interconnectedness helps us see that our growth is a continuous, evolving process. Finally, the overarching themes across all 3 degrees emphasize unity, moral development, and shared knowledge. These shared symbols and experiences foster a strong sense of brotherhood, binding us together through common values and collective learning. It's really about creating a community rooted in mutual growth and understanding, which is at the heart of what Freemasonry is all about. Let's take a closer look at the introduction to Freemasonry and its foundational degrees. First, we have the entered apprentice degree, which is the starting point for most Masons. It introduces new members to the basic principles, symbols, and rituals that define our craft. Moving on, the fellow craft degree builds on that foundation, emphasizing knowledge, education, and the importance of moral development. Then, we arrive at the Master Mason degree, which is the culmination of the initial journey. It deepens the understanding of Masonry's core teachings and responsibilities. Beyond these degrees, we explore the mysticism of Masonry, which encompasses the spiritual and esoteric aspects that many members find deeply meaningful. The role of symbolism in Blue Lodge degrees is also crucial, as symbols serve as visual tools to convey moral lessons and hidden truths. Recognizing how these symbols operate across degrees helps us appreciate the layered nature of Masonic teachings. A comparative analysis of the degrees allows us to see how each stage builds upon the last, creating a progressive path of enlightenment. Ultimately, all these elements connect to the broader theme of personal growth, moral integrity, and the pursuit of wisdom that defines Freemasonry. This overview helps us understand the depth and richness of the degrees and their significance in our journey as Masons. Let's take a moment to review some of the key takeaways from our discussion. First, the importance of the degrees in Masonry cannot be overstated. The 3 degrees, entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master Mason, each play a vital role in our personal growth, ethical development, and the pursuit of knowledge. These stages are more than just steps. They are meaningful milestones that help us become better individuals and members of our community. Next, we emphasize lifelong learning within Masonry. This ongoing journey of discovery encourages us to continually grow, reflect, and deepen our understanding. It's about more than acquiring knowledge. It's about fostering personal development, promoting introspection, and strengthening our brotherhood through shared experiences and wisdom. Finally, the journey through these degrees symbolizes more than just progression. It represents a lifelong commitment to enlightenment, ethical living, and brotherhood. Each step we take is part of a continuous process of self-improvement, reminding us that our growth as Masons is ongoing and deeply meaningful. All these elements tie back to the core theme of our presentation, that Masonry is a lifelong journey of learning, growth, and brotherhood. Let's explore the relevance of Masonry today and how it continues to engage with modern society. Masonry's core values, brotherhood, integrity, and personal growth, still resonate strongly in our current world. These principles encourage us to be active in our communities, to demonstrate ethical leadership, and to foster meaningful connections across different cultures and backgrounds. Masonic values like integrity, fraternity, and charity are not just old traditions, they remain vital today. They help us build stronger communities, promote personal development, and guide us in making ethical choices amid our increasingly complex world. Looking ahead, the future of Freemasonry depends on our ability to adapt to modern values. This means fostering inclusivity, welcoming new members from diverse backgrounds, and emphasizing teachings on morality and brotherhood. By doing so, we can ensure that Masonry stays relevant and continues to inspire positive change in society. Thanks so much for your time and attention today. I hope you found the presentation insightful and inspiring. Remember, the key points we discussed, whether it's the importance of innovation, collaboration, or continuous learning, are all vital to achieving success in our field. I encourage you to take these ideas and apply them in your own work. Together, we can make a meaningful impact. Thanks again for being here and for your commitment to growth and excellence.